Okay, welcome to this starting beginning guide on Planet Crafter, which is quickly become one of my favorite games and has been. There's a lot to this game, so we'll sort of try to talk about most of the aspects, and I'll give you some tips and some strategies that I've sort of learned playing this game quite a bit. So the first thing when you come in here, you're going to have, actually I already started a save game for tutorial, but I don't know if there's a limit on how many games. I usually just keep 2 or 3 of them going and then delete them when I don't play them anymore. But you can, you can do, I think, I don't know. I haven't really tried it, but I don't think there's any limit. But the big thing you want to know about is when you go to start a game, you can obviously name the game. You can actually pick the planet you're on. But the big one is you get a chance to pick the level of difficulty. So you can do relaxed, which you see here, dying has no consequences. You can do standard, in which you can drop some items when you die. That's not too bad. When you die, it just creates a crate. You go back to the crate as long as you remember where you died, and there's a good chance you will because you were just there, and you pick up that crate and you get all your stuff. Intense, every item in your inventory gets destroyed. So this is a bit worse, and you can see there oxygen, health, and water decrease a bit faster. Hardcore, this is very difficult. If you die, your save file is gone. And so this is very difficult. If you're first playing this game, I do not recommend you play these two. In fact, I pretty much just like to still play on standard. I die enough on there. And I'll tell you the main way I die in a little bit. So what we're going to do is first back out of here. We're going to go into the tutorial and load that up. And this is going to be pretty much just how it's going to look for you. I've done a couple things because I wanted to teach you a few things about the minerals, which is obviously very important. You can see out there is some minerals. You're going to come first into your spacecraft, which is crashed on this planet, sort of a barren wasteland. Has a sort of a Mad Max Furiosa look to it, doesn't it? Mad Max, yeah. Very barren, very little in terms of food. You do have some food on your craft. We'll talk about that in a minute. Now, let's talk about, there's some emails, first of all. I actually didn't first look at this, but you can look at this. It'll tell you, welcome to your assigned planet. Your mission is to advance the terraformation process of this world. You'll need to generate O2, heat, and pressure. And those are the 3 basic things. We'll talk about that quite a bit. First reach 175,000 Ti and create a blue atmosphere. So yeah, that's orange up there. That will turn blue. That's your first big objective. But we're not going to worry about terraforming. In fact, if you can see up on the right there, it says terraformation index. It's currently at 0, but don't worry about that. Because right now you're just worried about getting some resources and staying alive. And that basically means that bottom left. So those are the 3 things you're initially going to be worried about. Health, water, and O2. Now the health is just food. The water is obviously hydration. And the third part is O2. Now this is the big part to this game, probably the most important aspect. Anytime you are in this crashed craft, your oxygen stays up. But as soon as I step out of here, you can see it starts going down, starts decreasing. And when you first start out in this game, I want to warn you, it goes fast. You have a minute, basically 1 minute. So do not go venturing way out here. You will not make it back. And that was sort of my first beginner's mistake. I was sort of what do they say? Curiosity killed the cat. And I can tell you, if you get down here, it's easy to lose track of your craft. Let me show you. You start coming out here and all of a sudden, you don't know where it's at. So just be aware of that. You want to make sure that you don't get too far away in the initial beginning. Now, there are opportunities to upgrade your oxygen tank. I think currently I get 4 or 5 minutes. Gets a lot easier to move around, and you obviously get speed upgrades, and so that makes a huge difference. So in terms of that, you want to always make sure, and let's move in here. So here is your first case. You'll make many of these, or they're called storage crates. You just click it with your left click, it opens it up. Now, I've already gotten some stuff here. But this is what you will start out with. So you will start out with some Lerma seed. You don't need to worry about that right now. You get 4 food. You do need to worry about that. You get some oxygen capsules, and you get some water bottles. So all 3 of these things, they've given you some stuff here that will take care of these. Now you can see here that the food and the water is slowly decreasing. The oxygen is not, because we're inside the obviously we're inside the craft. I will tell you though that most of the time that I die in this game, I have yet to die of starvation of water. I've come close a couple times on the water, but I have yet to die, but let me put it this way. All the times I've died is because I wasn't paying attention to oxygen. So it sort of lulls you into a false sense of security. When you're in your buildings, you kind of forget about oxygen. You step out, you get too far away, and you know what happens. So just keep in mind, it's really the oxygen that's going to get you. Even though you have to be, these things you have like a finite supply of, especially the food. And that's another point. The food, the space food. You cannot produce food early in this game. You have to get to that point, and we'll talk all about that. But for now, you have a very limited supply of this. So there is a way to get food, and there actually are a lot of these packets, but you have to find them. That's the key. Water you can make with a single ice. There is a lot of ice out here. If you go here, you can get these really quickly. There's a lot of that. So water, I don't want to say it's infinite. I mean, you could theoretically go around and eventually run out of it, but there's a lot of it. So that's another thing you don't have to worry about. But you do kind of have to keep an eye on your food, but you will be able to produce it rather soon. So, but you do want to think about it. Now, where do you find food? Well, you will find these crates around the map. And so you do kind of want to look out in the horizon and see if you see one. You will run into them just running around, and there is one right there. I already knew that was there, so I'm sort of cheating, but I wanted to show you. If you come up here, you open it, and look, it's got a food packet. So that's how initially you're going to find a lot of your food, okay? These are blueprints. Let's actually take that, and we'll loot that, and we'll loot the food. These are important. We got some seeds. Seeds allow you to create food. So if you do see one, you want to take one of those. Definitely want to take the squash. That gives you a little bit more bang for your buck in terms of calories. And you will learn some foods have more calories than other. I just gave you a pro tip that the squash is pretty good. And look how quick that was. We already have to get back to our capsule. And let's actually store that now. If it's something I'm going to use later, usually I put that in the... usually I just store that away. This is something we're not going to use. Let's just store that away. This is something we might use. So let's now start to talk about minerals. Very important part of this game. These are what I like to call the big 5. Iron, titanium, cobalt, magnesium, and silicone. This is, if you would say, you almost say it's the big 6, aluminum. And later on, there's almost nothing aluminum's involved in a lot of building a lot of things. I will tell you that. However, this is less abundant. And that's the big point I want to make. These you will just find around the map. There's a lot less of. So if you see aluminum, I'll put it to you this way. Let's say we had our entire inventory full, and you will get that a lot. And you've just got a bunch of iron and these things, and you see some aluminum. Well, you're going to dump that iron, cobalt, and silicone because you need that aluminum. Now, later on, you'll be able to find aluminum a lot easier, but earlier on, you definitely want to take that. So those are the big 5, and then aluminum, like I said, a little bit rare. And there are other rare metals too, and you'll learn those. But generally speaking, if you find a rare item, you want to pick that up and ditch the common 5 in order to put that in your inventory first, because you can always find these pretty easily. They're all around the map. You just saw them out here. I mean, here's some cobalt, here's some iron. I mean, you can get these pretty easily. Look, there's some ice. You can. We don't see any aluminum though, do you? We see silicone. I mean, here's the big 5. They're all around here. So just keep that in mind. That's another big tip I want to give you. You can see here we're already getting low on. We can see here we got to keep an eye on our vitals. Let's take some water. And actually, let's go ahead and talk about crafting. So you're going to come here and you're going to be able to craft oxygen and water right away. Let's craft a water bottle. Like I said, it only takes 1 ice. You just hit that, and it is in your inventory. Awesome. Now we can drink it. You can see we're fully hydrated. Let's also consume the space food. This does not do a full restoration, unlike the water bottle. You can see there, it went up. So now there we're good on that for a while. And that's how we want to treat that. Okay, now always keep a few reserve oxygen capsules. When you're starting out, I think it's good to keep 2 or 3, minimum of 2. Because again, if you get lost out here and you die, you're gonna have to go back and get your stuff. That's the main penalty on standard. You don't get a huge penalty for death. It's not like the intense or hardcore mode, but there is a penalty. But like I said, let's say just you wander a little too far, and we're gonna do that so I can show this to you. And by the way, you can re-customize these keys, but to open your inventory, by default, it is the tab. And to construct, by default, it is Q. But we don't have that microchip. We're going to talk about construction in a little bit. But for now, let's just get low here a little bit. So we take that. And you don't want to go too low because you might die. So just, let's wait. All right, let's take it. And there, we just consumed one, and now we're okay. We can make it back to our craft. Okay, good. So now what we're going to do is move on to talk about construction. I think we've talked enough about minerals. And so let's get back to the craft. And you are going to find these things called chips. They are very important. These are probably 3 of the most important early on, and they are easy to get. So let's first start out with construction. And we want to construct our first base. But we can't do that. We can't open up the construction because we don't have the chip yet. What do we need for the chip? Okay, so we need silicone, we need magnesium. Well, that's good because we know we already got that. And here comes, this is a good point. I'm glad this is happening. Here come the meteors. You will get these meteor showers. I love, by the way, how you notice how the sound changes when you get inside your craft? These drop minerals, very important. You can see they're coming down now. Let's just watch this. I have yet to be hit by one of these yet. Now you see that one that's glowing, that might have... See if we can get to one. And they are really coming. And it will stop. Now, the main thing about meteor showers, and this is an important point. In fact, we can see one over there. I want to go over there and show that to you. Okay. So the main thing about meteor showers is they deliver minerals. Okay, that's what I wanted to show you. You see those little weird rocks there that don't look like they belong? That is the meteor. So if you come over here, you may find some goodies in here. Particularly, you might find some aluminum. You might. But most of the time, and see how I picked that up without even having to drill it? Yes, and that's the point I wanted to make. And so this is what it'll usually look like. Yeah, we're going to have to take some oxygen here. But this is what it'll look like. And sometimes there's aluminum deposits. Sometimes there's uranium deposits. It's good to sort of take a look at it. And we need to quickly... See how that just saved my life? And I wasn't even thinking about it. So that is an important thing to think about. If you can see where they land... go check it out because you might find some good metals there. That's the point I wanted to make, and that's what it looks like. So I wanted to show that to you. You'll know that you found them because they're not buried in the ground. You don't have to mine them. You'll just pick them up as you select them. All right. So let's get back to where we were. We need to get another magnesium, and then we can, and it'll tell you. You can see here, we highlight over this. It's grayed out. We need one more magnesium. Well, that should be very easy to find. You'll eventually know what these minerals, just by sight alone, you'll start to know what they look like. I know that's silicone, that's ice, that's iron. I mean, you'll know eventually. Okay, I can tell right away or is that cobalt? That might be that's the only, sometimes these are, yes, it is magnesium. Let's get it. And we have to hurry back because I went out, I broke my rule. We should have had a spare air tank oxygen capsule, and let's do that. Never forget that. Okay, all right, so good. So now we've got what we need, and so we're going to craft our first construction. You can see there at the top left, it sort of gives you a hint what to do. Craft, equip. Well, that goes without saying. If you're going to craft it, you're going to equip it. But let's go ahead and now get our, let's construct our first microchip, which is going to give us the ability to craft. And there, let's hit our inventory, and you can see there it is. But we're not done yet. We need to put this on our gear. So that's an important distinction. This is what you're carrying. This is actually what you're equipped. If I don't equip this, I can't use it. Okay, so there are some things you actually have to equip in order to be able to use it. And of course, that makes perfect sense. So this is what we're carrying, but it's not equipped. So this is equipped. Now we can use it. And now we can hit that all-important Q, and look, now I've got the construction, and I can do all sorts of things. We can start building our first base, but we're not going to do that quite yet. We're going to come back here. Let's get the rest of these done. We don't need another one of these, but we do need a deconstruction. We'll talk a lot about that. And we need a torch, but we're not going to worry about the torch. I'll let you worry about that. That's more, that's later on. Basically what this is if you hit the F button, you will get a flashlight. You will need that in spaceships. Where's a spaceship? Well, you can see one up there. Yeah, there's lots of these all around the map. And you will find these spaceships. You cannot go in there without it. You will need, or you will die, because it is very dark in there. And that brings up another point. While I'm thinking, I might as well talk about it. We're getting a warning, low power, by the way, and we'll have to deal with that. But I do want to tell you that one of the things that now when I usually die, it's in these spaceships, because it's easy to get distracted in there and forget about your resources. It's hard to get out. So those are very dangerous places. When you go in there, I usually take 3 to 4 oxygen, several water, and several food, because some of those places can be quite extensive. So just keep that in mind. That's usually where I die, because I'm not, and it's easy to get distracted there. You're looking for things, and so I just wanted to point that out. So we don't need to make the flashlight, but we definitely want to make the deconstruction. What do we need? Silicone and magnesium. Let's go out and find that. Should be very easy. We don't need iron right now, but we do need silicone. So let's see if we can find it. We're getting low on water, and it will warn you, by the way. There's some magnesium. Good. And there should be silicone around here somewhere. Always when you need the one you need, you never find it. There it is, though. No? There it is. Okay, got to be a little careful here because we're a little far out. I don't want to use my spare oxygen. There's silicone. And while we're here, let's just take a couple more. We may need some of these. Let's just grab some real quick and then get going. We're already... Oh, see, you can see how fast this goes. This is going to be really close, but I'm going to hoof it. You'll get an idea... eventually, you know, how much you got. And we're going to double that oxygen here shortly, so that'll be nice. In fact, we can do that right. Let's do that right now. So we're going to do our first big upgrade. We're going to go to a T1 oxygen tank. And really, anytime you have the ability to get a new oxygen tank, do it. So we're going to construct that. We're going to open up our inventory. We're going to drag that on. And look at that. We got more O2 now. Awesome. All right, so let's get back to what we were trying to do. Let's go get some magnesium. We wanted to make the... And you can see now we got 145 oxygen. Much better. It gives us a little bit more time, so we're not always running back. I think I'm on a T4 now. We're on a T2, but what did we need? Okay, so let's hit the... Forgot. Oh, we needed... I forgot what we needed. Was it magnesium? I think it was magnesium. Let's see if we can find some. It's funny. It's always the one you're looking for you never find. I swear, this game has like a gremlin in it. Okay, there we go. All right, let's go back. Let's grab a couple other things here. So I think we need some water. Even though I try not to take up my spare. If you are actually, try not to consume the spares here. You want to try to keep those in case you need those for emergencies. All right. So I think we can make, yes. So now we can make the deconstruction. Okay, so I want you to look at the tool. Let's actually take the water while we're thinking about it. There we go. Okay, let's take a food too. Okay, good. All right. So while we're looking at the tool on the right, you can see there. If you scroll, it'll change. Oh, we didn't equip that might help. There we go. We got to equip this thing. Okay, so now we're actually running out of space. There's a way to increase that with our backpack, which we're going to create very shortly here. And we're just going to get all this going. But this is important. Deconstructing, extremely important concept. Deconstructing allows you to get resources for deconstructing it. That's the main advantage. Also, there'll be times when you're up in those spaceships and you'll run into a point that's blocked. It will allow you can deconstruct it. So like I said, there's two ways to do. There's the construction, obviously, and there's also the deconstruct. Now you can see the deconstruct sort of has an X, and you can see the construction is just like a regular hammer. So we're gonna now when you deconstruct something, you're in that mode. It will be red. Okay, so that's just the main important thing. You do actually, we can't. You know what? We're gonna construct another. We're gonna actually do our first construction. You know what? Hold off on that. I'm actually changing my mind. Let's actually create our first base because we need some room here to operate. So we're going to go to the construction. We're going to find out what we need for our first living compartment. Well, we need another iron. Let's get that done. And let's not waste any more time. In fact, that's something you should get right away. Now, I am going to point out one thing really quickly while I'm thinking of it. I'm going to give you a spoiler, and this isn't, I want to give it to you because later on, as you start doing your terraforming, you can see we're at the top right, we're not doing it yet, but as you start to terraform, I want you to think about this, and actually I don't want you to get your base wrecked, so it's kind of a big one. This will turn in, as rain starts coming down, some of these depressed areas, particularly this area, will get consumed by water. So you want to sort of like think about building your base not next to here. That was a mistake I made. Unfortunately, I had other bases, but you want to go see up there that hill. Yeah, you'd want to be on top of that. So just keep that in mind. There will be some of these will fill up, but I'm going to build it here just for expediency. So what we're going to do is hit the construction menu. Sorry, I didn't hit it. Which is Q again. I'm going to hit this, and we're going to lay it down. When it's green, pretty simple. It means that you can put it down. I'm not going to really think much about this. We're just going to put it down. Okay, that is good. All right, so we've got our first compartment. However, now we need a door. So let's go and open that up right there. What do we need? Titanium and iron. See how we got a little bit more oxygen here? Just that little bit of a upgrade has made it much easier for us to sort of operate without having to run back every second, which is nice. We're going to have to run back in a second here. What did we need again? Let's go back to the... I didn't want to go that mode. Oh, my gosh. Okay, hold on. Sort of screwing around here. We need iron. Okay, I should have realized that. And by the way, some of these place a little weird, like on the sand. Like normally I'd put this more on a flat surface, but like I said, I'm trying to. Let's go back and get some oxygen here. All right, let's just put a door right there. So we're going to hit the Q button again, the door, boom, and now we can go in here and fill up our oxygen. We've got another place. Okay, so this is our first base. We are going to now build a crate, another crate, which we can put some stuff in. Let's hit the Q button, and there, we got a storage crate. We just need one iron. Let's get that done, because we need some storage. We need more storage. Let's just go get that iron. And this is what you're going to spend a lot of time doing. You're going to find out what the recipe needs. You're just going to go find it. Early on, most of the recipes are right out your door, front door, so that's the good part. Later on, you'll have to go looking for it. All right, so now let's All right, we got that aluminum. Let's store that. We're not going to need that. We do need to get, do need to, however, get some food. Well, we can keep the food here for now. That's fine. We do need some water. Okay. All right. So we've got our living quarter. I've showed you how to construct some things. Now we have to worry about is power. Power is very important. We're going to talk about that. You can build screens to monitor your power too. Very, very important. In fact, let's do that first. Let's get iron, silicone, and magnesium. Okay. Iron, silicone, and magnesium. All right, so we got some silicone. We need some iron. And we need a magnesium. Let's just take this cobalt while we're here. Sometimes I do that. Let's take some iron. Iron, you will use so much of it. It's good to just get some of it. And that's the other thing when you're out here, just get some of these other minerals because you're going to probably need them anyways. Where is magnesium? It's always magnesium. That one's always killing me. That and silicone are always killing me. There it is right there. Okay. Is there another one out here? We're running out of time, but... Oh, there's one. Let's grab one more magnesium. All right, that was a good mineral hunt there. Let's take this cobalt. No. All right, we got to get back in. There we go. All right, so power is really, really, really important. Everything you build, for the most part, is going to take up some power eventually, and sometimes the drains will be just huge. Especially when you start, you'll first notice it when you make your first food collector. That is going to be a big one. All right, so one thing we're going to do is we're going to immediately, oh, you know what? I just remembered something. We need to put a crafting station in here. Yes, that is similar to the crafting station that we had in the R for rotate, by the way, before you place it. By the way, you can always deconstruct something and it will give you, at least on standard mode, all the materials back. So so there we go. We've got another crafting station. We don't have to run back now to the crash craft. And you can see here we've got an exoskeleton. We've got a backpack. We probably should make that. Let's do that right now because you know what? We're sort of wasting time. Let's do the backpack. And there you can see. Now I've got more on the inventory. But we're out of gear slots. How do we solve that? We solve that with the exoskeleton. So let's create that. And that will actually give us more gear. So let's take the backpack off for now. Let's put the exoskeleton. Look, we just doubled the amount of items we can hold. These will all have upgrades. Pretty much everything here is going to have upgrades, and you want it always, like if you get an extra, I mean, it makes, obviously it's just common sense, but once you get the T2 exoskeleton, you're going to get that right away. So now we've got a lot more space to work with here, but we need to get, our original mission was to get the, let's open up the construction menu, Q. Our original thing was to get this energy thing here. I want to get that going so we know what our energy is. I can tell you this, for every major base and mini base I have, I almost always have I forgot what I needed now. What did we need? Iron. Okay, that's simple enough. There's a lot of iron. Iron's one of the easiest ones to find. Unfortunately, because iron is probably the most used mineral in the game, one of the most used. All right, so we got that up. Let's just put our screen down. Where do we want to put this? Let's put it here for now. You can actually build tables for these things. I'm just being lazy. You could build like a table and set it on there, but I actually just kind of like it on the ground. There, you put it there. All right, let's open it up. And there you can see, it's telling us what's taking. You can see that crafting station is taking up a little bit of, yeah, the screen's taking up some. We have 0 production. So right now, it says not enough power. That's a problem. So this crafting station, can we even use this? I guess you can because it's taking up so little. But eventually, well, it just says not enough power. There will be times when you'll be so far in the negative that, yeah, it just says low power. So we need to take care of that. How do you take care of that? All right. So this is something we want to start out with is a wind turbine, and that takes up a single iron. And I'm going to show you how important it is to monitor, or actually we're going to put 2 of them up. But I'm going to show you how important it is I mean, there's lots of screens, and I'm going to show you my control station later. but I just want to show you how important it is to get that going. So let's get a wind turbine going. Let's get another one going. Okay, good. They don't actually hit each other. That's a little weird, but anyways, if we come back to this, take a look. We've got 2.4 available. Always want to have this above. In fact, my standard now is they have 5 or 7 kilowatts more than what I'm consuming. So this is handled now. We want to actually get some more of that, but we're not going to worry about that right now. All right, so what I do want to do is put on an expansion and kind of show you how that works. So let's get some. I already know what we're going to need. Going to need some more iron. But before we do that, we do need to start worrying about terraforming, because that's going to get some unlocks for us. So you do want to, yeah, I'm actually waiting too long. You can see there the crafts terraformation. We can actually build a screen for that, but I do want to actually get that going, and so we're going to do that. And the first thing, the easiest one to do is the drill. That's a good way to get started on it. Here it is, the T1 drill. This will start our first terraforming. We need a titanium for that. And you can see there, it takes up 0. Now that's a very important thing I want you to look at. That minus 0.5 tells us that's going to be taking up a half a kilowatt. So what I do is I always look at the consumption. Come here, yes, we're going to have enough. We're going to put down 2 of them. So we really want to get going here. But we need 2 titanium. First of all, let's take care of the water. And we also need some food. We're getting a little bit low on food. But we're hopefully getting to the point where we'll be able to make some food. However, it's not going to be a huge problem because I could find some cases. They're around here. I mean, you go around. They're right there. See, there's one right there. We go over here, we'll probably find some food. And that's the thing. You can walk around and find these cases. I recommend you do that too. Like, look, we just found 2 food. And we actually found some stuff we need. Let's take all this. Got a water bottle. That's why these things are so important. Look at all that stuff we found. I'm not going to deconstruct it because I don't have enough to actually keep the destruction or deconstructed materials. Just keep that in mind. But that's why you want to run around a little bit and find the cases. You have a little bit of time, but that was just huge because we just got some huge food that we need. It's basically buying us some more time till we can make our own food. But that's another thing. Sort of, if you think you're like down to 1 or 2 of these, start looking around for cases. You'll find them. Trust me, you will. I've never actually, like I said, I've never died from food. So, but you do want to sort of keep it in mind, the back of your mind, but it's not like the end all. I guess I would say it that way. All right, so we've got. All right, so now we can do. What were we going to do here? Yes, we're going to get the terraforming going because we have to start. You will only be able to unlock certain things by that terraform index going up, and that is where we will actually start to terraform the planet. Very slowly, we'll get much bigger machines do that, but and you can see there it's asking us to do it. So we're going to open up crafting, and we're going to put down our very first jar. Boom, there it is. And like I said, I want to put 2 of them down. Well, we're not going to put 2 of them down because we don't have any titanium. Let's go get another titanium. I want to get 2 of those going. There we go. Okay. And it's that you can see, look at that. The terraform index has gone up to 4 Ti. See that on the right? Now it's going up slowly. That is huge because that is going to start giving us unlocks and terraforming the planet at the same time. So there we go. We got 2 of these. All right. So let's go in here. Let's check our energy. You can see it's down to 0.5. So we've got to add some more turbines. But we're doing good here. Let's take one of those food. Let's store some of the, let's not store this. Let's see what we want to do next. All right, so I kind of want to get up. Let's check the, yeah, there is another screen we need, and it's actually asking us to do that. The crafting screen. Okay, so, whoops, let's hit the Q. And we've got the terraformation. We'll talk about that in a minute. And the blueprints. Displays about new blueprints and how to unlock them. This is a good one to do. Let's put that right here. So let's get that. I keep hitting the inventory. Okay, let's go to blueprints. Let's just stick that right on the ground. And I usually do it this way where I have a control room with all these screens. You'll see, I'm going to show you a current game I got going. You'll see. So here it is. Here's all the blueprints. Very, very important screen. One of my favorite screens that tells you kind of what we need to do to get to certain things. Now, one of the big ones is the food grower. Huge. Ooh, we're a ways away from that. What do we need to do for that? We need to create some oxygen on the planet. And currently, we're not even getting to that point. So this is one you want to have in the back of your mind. Right now, we're producing some through pressure. You can see that. So there's three big areas. There's oxygen, heat, and pressure. And you want to get these going kind of early and think about that. So you're unlocking. So we're working to unlocking these. So right now you can see right here we can get a T3 oxygen tank. So the first thing we need to do is find out how we can produce some oxygen. But before we do that, we're actually going to go make some more power because we're low on power. Again, and if all that happens with this, if you run out of power is, well, you stop producing the terraform into all your production basically stops everything. So it is a big deal, but it's not, what I'm saying is it's not a end all, but you don't want to get in that scenario if possible. That's why I said, though, that electricity monitor is probably the most important monitor for me, at least, in the game. All right, so let's find some more iron. Take this ice. Okay, see, whenever you need it, it's not around, but everything else is. Okay, let's go over here. Come on, there's got to be. There's another crate over there, so we could probably, chances are there's some food in that. Probably going to have to take an oxygen thing here. Okay, here we go. There we go. I want to get a bunch of this. I'm going to run it down. I know, but I want to get a bunch of iron because we need it. Let's take some silicone. There we go. Okay, good run. Sometimes it's worth it. All right, there we go. We got a new blueprint. Look at that. We got a T2 oxygen. Yes. And we're going to get that pretty quickly. So now we're going to increase our oxygen even more. That's huge. Those you have to get right away because you can obviously stay out here longer. Longer you can stay out here, faster you can advance. All right, so let's get the... let's go ahead and get this turbine going. Let's get another one going. Good. All right, let's run back. It's just sort of a habit I get into. Let's check the electricity. It's 2.7 kilowatts. Good. All right, now let's open this up. So we did drilling. Obviously, pressure is a big one. Oxygen is the next thing we need to start working on. We can already build a vegetube. The problem is we need a vegetable to put in it. And we need to run back. I thought we had one. We did find them. You will find those in the crates. There it is. Oh, we don't have one. Okay, so that's... All right, well, we need to find a vegetable because they only work if you put a plant in them because plants create oxygen, right? Yeah. They're taking the carbon dioxide, but we don't have one, so we're going to have to go find one. Good. I'm glad that happened, though. But we can do the other type, which is a heater. And what I want to do is actually expand the base now a little bit. I'm glad I got that extra. Oh, we need some titanium. Okay, did we have some titanium in here? No. Okay, let's go find some. Titanium is very abundant. It's one of those big five, very easy to find. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to start adding heat to the planet, which is another... And by the way, as you add heat, all these things, pressure and oxygen, they all contribute to that terraform index, which is a big number. Remember the 175,000 we're trying to get to, you can see how far, but that will start to add up pretty quick. Okay, so let's go ahead and increase the size of our base. Oh, that's too bad, it's being blocked. Uh-oh. It's not blocked there. Let's see if it's blocked over here. No. All right, so we put that on. Boom. All right, so now we just doubled the size of our base, and we can come back here now. Normally, I'd probably deconstruct this and move this, but we're not going to. This is just a tutorial, but you could do that. You could move that stuff out and arrange that a little better so it's not blocking your way. All right, so now what we want to do is get a heater going. Oh, we need some iridium. Oh, no. Okay, that's going to be hard to find. Let's go. There is I'm giving you guys a little bit of a spoiler here. Should be a gold case, which I revisited to get that aluminum. It's up here. Yes. So a gold case is the best case. You find gold, that's better than blue. They have lots of rare stuff. Let's see. It does have some iridium right there. So there's a little spoiler for you. You can go get some stuff here. Ah, there's the seed we need too. 600%. Okay, we got some uranium, and we got some, but I can't fill this all in. This is so close, we'll come back and get it. I sort of broke my own rule where I would dump the iron, but as long as you know you can get back to it, you can leave important stuff there. But we got the important things we needed initially, so we can build a heater to start contributing. And now we can actually do the oxygen. What am I thinking here? Let's do the oxygen first. So we really need to work on that food. This will start getting us to the point where we can unlock that. So what do we need? All right, so we've got the seed to put in there. It's 500%. That's a 600. That's a huge multiplier. Yes, we've got it. Okay, it is going to take up some energy, but very little. So let's put it down right here. Let's put in this. And there's the seed. This will grow larger and will contribute more oxygen. But you can see if we come to this screen now, you can see now that we are actually adding some oxygen now. We are going to need 12 PPT to get there. We're quite a ways away, but we can speed that up, which we are going to do. All right, let's check the availability. That's good. Now what we want to do is get that heater going, because you want to start working and to have 2 or 3 of each one of these. So let's do that. Let's get the heater going. And we do have the iridium now to do that. Let's hit the construction, which I apparently can't hit right now. Okay. So that's going to, we can automatically put it down. We do have the energy, I can already tell. Let's put it right here. There it goes. And you can see that the terraformation index is already going faster. Check our availability on, our hydration is low. Let's take that water. Good. All right, so now this is good. At least we're now working on these upgrades for each one of these. Let's get that tank upgraded. What do we need? We need some silicone, titanium, and 2 magnesium. Okay. All right, so let's go back over here. Were we storing anything? And eventually you'll just deconstruct this whole place, but yeah, not going to worry about that stuff right now. We do have our food, but we did need some magnesium, I believe. We can always open up the construction queue. Let's just go a ways away here. We got the backpack too. Let's just start taking a lot of this. Definitely want to get the T2 backpack on. I think we needed some titanium too. There's iron. Gotta be a little careful. There's always a lot down in this little valley here. Come on, there it is, way over there. Like I said, you'll recognize all of these. You'll recognize all of these minerals pretty soon enough, trust me. Okay. All right, so let's head back. And we're already running low. Sometimes it's good to create a door on the opposite side in case you're... See, I think we're going to have to take an oxygen tank. I think it's going to be close, but we're going to make it. Like I said, you'll get this down to the point you know if you're making it and you know you're not making it. When that thing hits 0, you have like a second. That's maybe a second if you're lucky. Not a lot of time, though. Okay, so what we're going to do here. Okay, so we were going to... Let's check this again, see where we're at. Yeah, we want to speed up that oxygen quite a bit, but we wanted to get this constructed. We want the... Let's go oxygen tank first. Now, we went T2. It'll automatically upgrade the tank in here, so you don't have to drag it in or anything. If you have an oxygen tank in here, you upgrade it, it's already done. Now, we definitely want to get the backpack upgraded. We need another titanium, which we can do. And then we're going to get that to a T2. And these are big. Anytime you get those types, you want to take care of those right away because it just makes your life that much easier. You can see now we got 200. Look at the oxygen. Got even more time to sort of look around. This is going to help you scour for food too. Definitely help you look around. We can just deconstruct this now. Let's do that. And it'll tell you, you'll see on the left, it'll tell you what minerals you got for that. You can see there, it just gave us some iron. You can see right how much more oxygen we got now. I mean, we can really start to do some stuff out here now. Still got to be careful. Don't get, and that's the other thing when you upgrade these things. A lot of times you sort of get lulled into a false sense of security. What is this? Oh, it's cobalt. I thought that was something like unique. There it is. Okay, I was looking for that. We got to be a little careful here, but I want to actually deconstruct this and show you. Okay, so we're going to deconstruct this, and this gives you some rare stuff. It gave us a super alloy, and I do want to talk about super alloys. Super alloys are very important, sort of mid-game material. It will be used to construct a lot of rare type of things you want to construct, or things that you're going to really need. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I will say that, let's get out of deconstruction mode, that this comprises the big five, so silicon, magnesium, iron, cobalt, and titanium, but it also comprises a one aluminum. So you need 6 of these. All the metals make up one of these. So later on you will get a super crafter and you'll be able to sort of make these if you have to, but it's sort of a pain because you always seem to be missing one of these. But that's what this is. So just keep that in mind. All right, so we wanted to get another tank, but did we have another seed? We don't. I just remembered that. So let's see if we can go out and get, let's just check. We're getting a little low on food, but those go so slowly. You can go a ways, replenish it. If I saw another, yeah. Do you see these sort of take a mental note? And, as you get more oxygen, think about this. This thing now will fill up more of an oxygen, so we can go, not double the distance, but we can go a long way. So you can see here we got some stuff. We found some food. Let's take the seed. Like I said, let's take the rare items. I'm not as concerned about these. We'll come back. But that just gave us, bought us some more time on the food. In fact, let's just consume it. So I know it won't fill it all the way up. There we go. We got a chip. We got some seed. So that's going to allow us to build, do some more oxygen, which we want to really boost early because we want to get that food production going. Really want to get that food production. Let's go back in here and let's check where we're at. See, we're only at we're a long ways away, but we can start to double it right away. So let's check our electricity. Still pretty good. Let's see what we've got to do again to build another vegetube. We need some ice. That's simple enough. Let's go get it. There's ice everywhere. In fact, we'll get a couple ice because we need some water now. So, oh, inventory's full. Okay, forget it. All right, let's run back here, and let's get another vegetube going. Where is it? Oh no, I always do that. I always hit the inventory. Okay. Let's just put it right next to each other. Let's put that in there. And boom. You can see how this one's growing a little bit now. This one hasn't grown, but these will grow. Let's go see. Okay, so we're at 1 kilowatt above. That's good. That means the power is not a problem. And now this is boosting even faster, so that's good. We still got a ways to go, but we're working our way there. We've still got lots of food. Got a supply here and over at the Crash Craft. We've got some of these now. These will build things later on in the game, which are very important. Let's talk about, I think we've talked about all the basics. There's just a couple more things I want to talk about before I'm going to actually show you some mid-game stuff that's important. But I think you got the basics down. Just by going through this, I think you got the basics down. Let's check and see if... Let's check and see... Hold on a second. Yeah, I wanted to show you another screen. Yes, this one. Okay. This is a big screen, so you got to kind of put it up here. Let's rotate it. Okay, so you put this up here. Very important one. This will show you the terraformation. This is huge. Obviously, we can see our overall TI, which matches that index on the top right, but we can also get a nice breakdown of how we're doing on oxygen, heat, and pressure. We're contributing to all of those, but you can, I like this because you can kind of come here and see what you might not be doing enough of, and you can boost it. And you can also look, hey, I need to get the oxygen up to get this thing. Where are we at? You know, you can kind of get an idea. Very important screen. And I'm about to show you sort of a mid-game scenario I got going right now. But this is the basics of the game. There's a lot more, but I think this is all you need to know. Now, I mean, you can do a lot of other things. Let's see. Let's just check the upgrade menu. Stairs are important. This you can actually build. You can put a pod on top of this if you want like a little bit more of an elevated feel. You can just see we upgraded a solar panel. Let's actually talk about a solar panel real quick, because solar panels give you a lot of power, and they're one of my favorite. I still use this mid-game. I use those all the time. But let's say we wanted to add, but you can do this. You could elevate it. You could put a pod on here, and I'll actually show you this in my game. You put some stairs up to it, and you have a little bit of an elevated thing. You'll unlock a lot more here. We talked about desks. You can do tables. You can make it look more livable. I don't usually do that, but don't really care. But you can also put outdoor lamps up if you want to work at night. I don't really find these useful because you can see fine at night. I don't know if they would be useful. I don't know if you can build those in the spacecraft. They might be useful there because it's so dark in there. Let's go ahead and build a window. In windows, you can get claustrophobic in here. What do we need? Iron? Actually, you know what? I got to be careful of the water situation. Let's just make sure. Yeah, we got a water. Normally, I would fill that up, but let's just take that. All right, and food's okay. We're not in terrible shape. I think we got another one in here. Let's check it. Well, like I said, now we got to the point where we can probably go out and look deeper out for more crates. You'll see in a minute how much food. I actually still have those original packets, plenty of them. I mean, I have not died from food yet, so it was stressing me out. It usually does stress me out when I'm first playing, but I never seem to die of it, so just letting you know. Let's take a look. What were we doing here? We wanted some iron, right? Yeah. Titanium, where is it? Iron is used for so many things. So many things. Silicone, no. Come on, there's got to be an iron. There we go. All right, so let's go add a window. That's kind of nice. It's not something you really need, but sometimes I add them a lot, actually, because I kind of like to look outside, see what's going on. There are no enemies in this game. Oh, that's an important point. There's no real enemies you have to worry about, so enjoy the scenery. I love how they did this. They sort of when you're inside here, I love the sound effects, and I also love how this sort of a little bit blurry, I guess, that little blurred effect. It seems so real. All right, what else? So let's just take a look here. I think you got the core mechanics of it down. Oh, let's build the solar panel. You can see there. Look at that adds for energy. Look at the wind turbine, 1.2. This adds 6.5. So let's just do that, and it'll be the final thing we do. So we need some cobalt, I believe. We need some silicone. You always need silicone for solar panels. And there's actually big upgrades on those, and makes them even more powerful. What did we need? So let's open up the... Oh, just, of course, an iron right here. Okay. So let's take a look. That will almost equal, that one solar panel will almost equal all 4 of those. I mean, it's really amazing. So let's build one of those. They are really an upgrade. That's a really big upgrade for power. Let's rotate it. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can point these anyways, but I try to just do a clean one. Okay, there we go. Now let's go check the... Let's go ahead and check this here. You can see, yeah. Okay. Good deal. Okay. And you can see here, 7.1. Look at that. All right, that is it for the beginning part of this. I am now going to show you some mid-game strategies I took. If you want to stop here, you can. If you don't want, there will be a few spoilers. Well, there'll be a lot of spoilers, but if you just want to stop here and you don't want to see all that, but I do have some things I want to show you, so we're going to back out of this. Actually, let's save it. I might as well. Let's exit. Make sure you do a save, by the way. I'm glad I showed you that. So let's go play this sort of mid-game. You see here, I'm up to 48 MTI. That's still not a lot, believe it or not. But here, I'm just 1 point TI. This is mil. That's K. So you can see a lot higher on this. So let's load this up. Oh, come on. What? Oh, gosh. Come on. Wow. Wow, that was annoying. Okay, So here is my base. Yes, take a look at this. Give you a little tour real quick. You can see this is what I wanted to show you about that lake. Yes, that's where we were, lake over there. And yeah, your stuff will get flooded. You can actually swim down here because keep in mind we're in a space. In fact, let's go over to the old. Let's actually swim over there. You can see here I'm creating some algae. So this is we're definitely on to the terraforming aspect of this. I wanted to show you there it is way over there. You can see it. It's over there. In fact, it might still be somewhat. So you can't drown in here because you still have to worry about your oxygen, but anyways, that was the point I wanted to make to you. Yes, you can see here I'm making some algae, some definitely terraforming this planet. Okay, so this is still a tutorial though, and this is actually only mid-game if you can believe that. That's how I'm still a long ways away. I'll actually show you. I've got a jetpack too. Now, that's something I do want to talk about. As you move along, you will have a couple things to do here. You will get the ability to build like a lunar vehicle. I call it the lunar vehicle, but it's a vehicle. It does not actually stop your oxygen from going down at this point. But there's uses. The jetpack, you actually get the jetpack before you get this. This is useful if you want to go on a huge resource run. You get an extra. You can actually upgrade this, by the way, but you will have like an extra compartment here. So this is useful. It does not really. You can go down some pretty steep cliffs. Doesn't have a problem. In fact, let's get into it. Let's drive it. You can drive it around. You know, I haven't actually put this in the water yet. And you just right-click, you're out of it. So highlight over it, it lets you go in. So that's useful, but I really use the jetpack because you can really get around quick. You can see how fast I've got this upgraded quite a bit, so I can move around very, very, very fast. Okay, so that's the first thing. You get the jetpack, build that because it's going to make your life that much easier. Okay, second thing is you can see here I sort of elevated this one. You can organize your minerals any way you want. What I do is I have an all minerals, which basically is the big five. I usually put the big five in these. You can also, as you can see, if you click on this here, you can name it. Didn't talk about that, but you can. So that's where I keep the, sort of have these close I can get to if I need these big five because they pretty much are needed for everything. And then I keep some rare, like in here I'll keep like some of these seeds. You'll see here I still got some some vegetables to do, for my vegetable to add oxygen to the atmosphere. So these are the rare things. Now some people do this differently. They will have like a different locker. This is, by the way, when you get the locker, that's gonna make your life a lot easier, much bigger than the crate, but like I said, some people do this differently. Some people will organize this by type, just the specific type. I find that not so useful because I can find, like, if I need uranium, okay, where is it? It's right here. I keep these sort of clumped here, but you can do it the way you want. Like I said, you don't have to do this any way. You will start to get specialty buildings. So there, for instance, is the biodome. And let's just go over and look at that. So I haven't even been working much on the bio stuff, but you go in there, and the point I want to make is when you build one of these, they will always have a terminal. You come up here and look, there's stuff to upgrade here. In fact, this is the next thing I got to do. I got to do this algae generator because I want to put that in the lake. I've got the T1, but I want to get the T2, so I got to work on that. In fact, let's see what that does. Where is it? Right here. I'm going to need bioplastic. I just unlocked something. Lake water collector. Okay, so that's important. So just keep in mind that was my first beginner mistake. When I created this rocket thing, I was like, "Where's the rocket?" When I first created it, I remember when I first played. I was like, "Where is it?" Well, see how fast I can get up here. By the way, go to the stairs. I'm at the top. That's why that jetpack is so nice. But I didn't come up here and there's a terminal and I can launch GPS satellites and all this. GPS satellite, that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Another thing I got confused. So I added a screen down there. I'm going to show this to you in a minute. It's very, very nice. And that's it was a sort of beginner's mistake. I'm like, where's the map? Well, yeah, you have to come up here and launch a satellite to get that map to fill up. I'm going to show that to you now. It's actually go much faster with the jet now. I got to remap that key. Oh, hydration level low. Oh, I also keep a food and water locker right next to my crafter, and you know, if I need some water, I can just come here. You can see here I've got 2 oxygen capsules, some water, some food, and yes, I'm growing food. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay, so like I said before, I kind of like to keep a console or command center, and this is the command center I've got. So I've got the I just showed you that the terraformation index. Yeah, I've showed you the energy one. I've showed you the blueprints. You know about that. Here is the map. So you can add this later on. You'll unlock this, and not going to show you any more of this, but you can see. I think this is really cool. It'll show you actually your base, everything you've constructed. So that's really cool. You also have emails. You want to read these. That has some narrative to the game. And I like this one, the transformation stage. You can see right now I'm in the lakes. I'm working to moss, and I'm only 0.4% there. This will get slower and slower when you first start doing these terraformation steps. It's faster, but it gets much harder to get there. You have to add more to here to move that, right? You have to add more. There is a biomass thing you'll eventually see too. The first 3 you're going to worry about are oxygen, heat, and pressure, but eventually you will start to worry about biomass. How do you add biomass? Well, go to the construction thing. And as usual, I'm doing this wrong. Yeah, so you can right here, you'll get a grass spreader. That's the first one. You saw that Lerma seed? That's what it's for right there. I'll show you. We'll go out the door in a second. There's the algae. You put these in lakes. And now I've got a T2 biodome. I haven't even built this yet. I got to work on it. We just saw that T2 algae generator. But here's the biomass. So if you add this, this will start increasing the biomass index, which adds to your terraformation, and it'll allow you to start unlocking some of these things right here. Okay. So that's I kind of like to have a control center. That's another thing I do. We've talked about sort of how to store things, and you can do that if you want. You can see we got rain coming down. You won't have this. Okay. So another thing you will get eventually is a food's low. Okay, well, let's take some squash. Well, while we're talking about food, I have found through playing this game, you usually only need 4 food generators. And you saw that, I showed you that when we were working our way to get to that. Usually you just need about 4. And what I like to do is when you collect this, you want to collect all 4 of these right away, because then they'll start, you don't have to ever put the seed back in, as far as I know. I don't think it ever runs out of seed. So once you put the seed in there, if we open this up, there's the seed packet. You just put that in. Let's collect these things. I want to show you why you want to collect these right at the same time when they're all done. Because now they'll start growing again. And if you come over here and highlight over, you see here it's at 30%. This one's at 30%. So you want to sort of, you don't want to just keep coming back at different times. Just let them grow again, and then you'll come back. Stairs are important. You can put this right in your pod. You can click on it, go right up. You come in here, and this is where I'm doing my big-time heating of the planet. Right in here, I'm storing these up here. These take a lot of resources. In fact, let me show you what those take up, just to give you an idea. So that is the T3 heater. It takes up, well, it's not too bad. It takes some iridium rod, which takes up 9 iridium. Now you will find those rods, and that's huge, but most of the time you're just going to find the mineral itself. Here's a T2 nuke. Now look how much power that gives you. 331, yes, K. 86K for these. I've only built the T ones. Be a little careful, because you need uranium for some other things. So I try to not build. You can always just add these T2s. Look, that takes up just the big 5, well, and including aluminum. But you'll find a lot more aluminum later on. So generally, I try to add these. And let me go show you my solar farm. I'm having a problem flying here. Okay, I got a message. I'm not going to go check that, but see, here's my solar farm right here. You can see here I've got the advanced drills going, so that's adding pressure. Here's my power plants. Here, this actually you have to build this to get those messages. Here's all the oxygen generators. Look at that, I got them all out here. These T3s, I believe they only go on the outside, so that's why I've sort of stacked them up here. If you look here, this one does 400%, so they're different. You'll find them. I think that's what we found. Golden Seed's the best that I've found is 600%. All right, so we talked about that. All right, other very important thing. Very important thing. You want your base to be self-sufficient to the point where if I just sat here for eternity, I'd be okay. Because number one, obviously I'm making food, but later on, you will have the ability to build this water collector. Each base I tried it, well, at least the major base you have to build one, but obviously, but later on, you'll want to. I keep hitting that inventory. Sorry, it's just like a habit of mine. But here it is. When you get this, you'll see here it takes up sort of the more common items, but you will need a super alloy, one of those. So it's not too bad. It's pretty easy to build. However, keep in mind these things take up a lot of power. I usually get burned on this. Let's see what the power is. Mine 11K. So just keep in mind some of these, even the food one is pretty bad. So yeah, minus 15. So make sure you have the power, because if you build this thing and your power goes out, you might be out for a while trying to get the power back up. Or you can always deconstruct it, and that's another thing. When you deconstruct it, you'll get all the minerals back, so you could just do that. Now the way this works is you come here, you click on this, and just get all the water, and it'll start making new water bottles. I try not to let this thing get full because you're not making water bottles anymore. So I try not to. Or come back at least at sometimes check on it so that this thing's not just not doing anything. So you want to have those at your, at least one of these at your major base. Now, what happens is as you terraform this planet, the ice will all melt. Now think about the problem with that. Now you've got no water. I actually ran into that one time. Now I had enough ice where I could make water, but you don't want to linger too long in getting this up. A lot of times I do, and I shouldn't. And then it comes back to haunt you because all of a sudden the ice all melts because the planet's hotter. So just keep that in mind. Now you could go mine all the ice. The ice won't go away. In fact, I think I still have some. Let's go look in my... Yeah, I still got some ice. But if it was out there, it would have melted it. But since it's in here, it's still fine in the container. Look at all these food packets I found. So I was going to tell you, and I've actually consumed a lot of these. So it's kind of, you will find a lot of food in those crates. Remember I made that point earlier? Yeah, but generally I try not to consume these if I can. I just want to use up the squash and the mushrooms and sort of eat those before I dig into these. But I have so much food now. I mean, if you have a problem, you can always add more. I mean, that's certainly not a problem. You can do that. All right. So we've talked about the water collector. Okay, one final thing I'm going to talk about is the big one. Eventually you're going to get to, now the meteors, when they come down less frequently, but when they do come down, they will supply the area that you're in with some minerals. But you're going to have to get to the point where you have to start making your own minerals, because you will have gone through so many. You can see here, I mean, look at this. I've gone through, I mean, there's still minerals left if I go over here, but this whole area has been, if we look around, I mean, there's some over here, but you'll find, especially near your base, there's a lot less. And that's where maybe the biggest thing comes in, is the ore extractor. It will extract, you will find osmium. I'm not going to tell you where that's at. But when you find it, keep it, because it takes 2 of those. That's a pretty rare thing. When you find it, make sure you get all that and keep it, because you'll need that to make the ore extractor. It makes some other things, but it's a really big one is the ore extractor. So this will do exactly what it says. It will extract minerals automatically and put them into this case. So if I come here, take a look at that. Now, this thing is no longer making anything. Remember, it's the same thing with the water collector. I need to sort of empty this. I don't have enough space. And then what I do is I usually just dump all this stuff in here, so that I try to get the whole thing as empty as possible. This is a quick way to do it. You hit this all. Same thing, you can add them back. So those alls, I didn't talk about those. So much to this game. But then I just come over here and well, that's full, that locker. But then we can add them here, you know, and I'll add them here. Mainly I want to keep this thing going as long as possible. I don't want that to get stuck and stop. So just periodically check it like you do the water collector. These things I added, this is the initial part, but I added these lockers really close to it so I could just fill those up. It just basically saves time. And that's one of the things you want to think about is I like to keep everything really close so I don't have to run. You don't have to run to get your water. Now, you don't care as much about you know, the solar panels and the mining stuff and the oxygen stuff, but you do care about stuff that you need more often. So that's why these are close to the base. This is all close because I can get to it quickly. Okay, so one final thing I want to talk about, and let's actually go up here. You can see I'm at 370 on the oxygen. Let's go up here. Let's actually get some water. Let's get some food, and we're going to go flying. Now, I like to do this, but you can, and by the way, there is no right or wrong way to play this game, but one thing I do like to do, even though you have a huge amount of oxygen, you can still run out of it, you know, if you get far enough across the map. That happens less with the jetpack, but still, I like to create way stations or mini bases that are somewhat sufficient. So we're going to go over there. You can see this is turning into, this has actually gotten bigger since I last saw it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I'm going to have to put an algae thing in there too. Wow, this was all, I'm wondering if this is going to get overrun here. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it does stop, but it'd be interesting if this base gets overrun. I don't think it will. But you can see that's why I put this on an elevated position here. But this is a mini base. This is one gigantic solar farm that I built because I didn't want to like flood my base. You know, I have these things surrounding my base, so that was one of the reasons. This is a huge sort of solar base I've got that just does a ton. I did put a water collector here because, you know, and that actually has saved me a couple times because I needed water. So think about that. Just think about these bases. This is a self-sufficient base. I've got water, and I actually got one thing of food in case there's an emergency food. I do keep a couple food in here too. And so this is a mini base. And by the way, in this mini base, I always keep the electricity so I can see. This I will have this monitor by default will be in every single base I have, and a crafter. But definitely, this is useful as I'm adding solar panels to my solar farm. I can run in here and check these. All right, I think I have talked enough. That is the basics of the game. I probably missed some things still, but I think you got a good idea how this works. I hope you buy it. It's a great game. I believe it's on sale right now if you on GOG.com for $10. I was just looking at it on GOG. So that's probably going to end in a few days. So, but anyways, thank you for watching.